Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. My name is Winged Supernova, and this evening, I am recording this in the evening after I recorded the previous portion of the Let's Play, and I just wanted to speak right before we go into this, because this episode is going up on Kirby launch day. Yes, Kirby comes out the same day that this episode does, on Friday the 25th of March. So I wanted to speak a little bit about my schedule for uploading, because I was hoping to potentially get this Let's Play done before Kirby, but it seems like, of course, that's not the case. So, as a schedule adjustment here, my thought process was that I would, instead of uploading both each day, which I feel like would be a little bit taxing on my part, having to record double, only today I'm going to upload double, and then the day after this you're going to be getting Kirby, and then Great Ace Attorney on Sunday, and then back and forth vice versa. You're going to get a new episode of Great Ace Attorney every other day, as well as a Kirby episode every day that Great Ace Attorney doesn't come out. So yeah, it's just going to be Kirby, Great Ace Attorney, Kirby, Great Ace Attorney, and so on and so forth, until Great Ace Attorney or Kirby is done first, and then it's just going to be straight uploads of one of those until the end. And then we'll find out what we're doing after that. But yeah, as of right now, what happened in the last episode of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, we cross-examined the trio of witnesses that arrived on the scene. We turned over a few new truths, and now we have a lead on the Red-Headed League and how they may be involved in the case. So we will be cross-examining the two members of the Red-Headed League that were taken away by Gina at the beginning of this whole case. So, onwards we go. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the closed court hearing of Beric Van Zieks, here present, who stands accused of murder. Now then, Prosecutor Asogi. My lord? Have you summoned the witnesses as requested? Yes, the two members of the Red-Headed League who planned and carried out the deception. They arrived not too long ago from the local prison by police carriage. Very good. Bailiff, usher the two men into the courtroom. Okay. I don't remember what voices I gave these two. I think I gave the one on the left like a wimpy voice, and the one on the right sort of like a shrillish voice. These two men are currently being held by the police on suspicion of attempted extortion. You may omit your occupations, but state your names now for the court. I am Fabien de Rousseau, a descendant of Zigoret de Rousseau family from Nice in France. So they're French.
And my name is Peppino de Rossi. I am the third son of the great Familia de Rossi, the landowners from Napoli.
So one's Italian and one is French. The two men first became acquainted at a boarding school for European nobility.
Those who graduated from Timsik are the future leaders of Europe. But, do you have any idea how boring it is to be born with the noble blood? Alas, I make it my mission to get the better of the world by employing the little grey cells of my brain. That is all I am trying to do,
So, that's the only reason for this whole grand deception you've been carrying out?
Oui, you could say that. Not bad, eh? He has the grand ideals, but the petty plans. This strange combination is the charm of the hilarious brothers. Si capo? Listen to me, Peppino. I have two things to say to you. Eh? Che? Are you about to tell me one of your grandi anecdotes? Evviva! Firstly, I want you to stop calling me this capo. And secondly, We are not the hilarious brothers. This is serious business. Che bello! There it is! The Capo's trump card! The furrowed brow! It is deep, Capo? The furrow and the meaning of your words.
The court has been led to believe that under the banner of the Red-Headed League, you have conspired to swindle money from unsuspecting members of the public. Is this true?
Oui, c'est ça.
And what exactly was the nature of this deception by which you planned to defraud?
Alors, I will explain it. No, Capo. Leave it to me. As you see, we both had the vivid red hair, no? At school, we were teased for this without pity. There's the Capo here. He was many times behind the schoolhouse crying like the Trevi fountain. Weh, those dogs! One day the world will respect us redheads. Every night he would bury his head in his pillow and weep for the C'est bien, Peppino. Enough. I will explain the rest. The first step was the newspaper advertisement. About 1 week before the plan was put into operation, we listed the same notice in every paper in London.
Yes, we saw that notice. It was this one, I believe, entitled To the Red-Headed League.
Oui, c'est ça. I am honored that you have seen it.
It states that the only condition for joining the league is having flame-colored hair, and that if you satisfy the interview panel and are admitted into the league, you could receive a weekly income of £4. These guys are like a toned-down, less together version of the brothers from the last case of the last game. That's what they remind me of. On the date specified, red-headed hopefuls gathered in droves at a park specified in the advertisement, and from each person present, this pair took an application fee of 5 shillings.
And with the money, to France. It was a plan most elegant, non?
No, it was most dishonorable. But to be frank, I'm stunned anybody was foolish enough to be taken by such an obvious trick.
The park was described by one witness as choked with red-headed folk, like a coster's orange barrow.
And the day on which all these men gathered to apply was the day before the victim was discovered. Crucially, these 2 men spoke face to face with every single person present that day.
Oui, I have seen more red-headed people in one day than I will see in the rest of my life. See. And now, every time I see the Capo's hair, I feel sick to my stomach. Anyway, why have we been summoned here today?
Sorry?
The date for our trial was not until tomorrow, I was told.
Naturally, neither of these men have been told any details about this trial. They've only been shown this photograph. Very good. So, Mr. de Rousseau and Mr. de Rossi, you will now give your formal testimony for the court on the subject of the gentleman pictured in this photograph.
Of course. We are always ready to help with the law.
Okay. I don't know exactly how these two are going to play into this, actually. I mean, maybe they can shed some light on someone who might have been either eyeing or, with Mr. Gregory.
We had more than 1,000 red-headed people assembled in the park on Lime Street that day. But I don't recall the man in this photograph. Hey, Capo? No, I don't remember him. Obviously, he's dead now, but I assure you, he was not in the park. Alors, this victim is nothing to do with us. You have a lot to answer for, Peppino. It is your fault that we got caught in the first place.
That last statement definitely needs pressed. You've given sworn testimony that this man in the photograph was not present. Can you be certain?
Oui, I am quite certain. We did not interview this man. Nobody looking like this came to the park. This I can promise.
It must be noted that you have been arrested for a grand deception, however. Accordingly, this court has little confidence in your assurances.
Oofa! With this attitude, we get to nowhere, huh?
He's really sulking now. This confidential document was obtained directly from Scotland Yard. It records an entry from the inspector's private diary dated the day before the incident. It reads, Lime Street, Red-Headed League, undercover.
Ah, I have the answer. Maybe there was another similar event in the park on the day in question, eh?
That is ridiculous. There's no question that Inspector Gregson was investigating the Red-Headed League, which means it's quite possible that's when he was killed. Very true. Very well. The defense may proceed with the cross-examination now. Yes, my lord. My computer is whirring. I hope you guys can't hear that, but you probably can. Okay.
Hold it!
It was really that many? 1,000 people? That's a very big crowd.
It was quite a spectacle. Redheads had come from all over the capital. See, the capo here, he has the magnetismo animale, eh? Nobody else could attract so many people. If I could be born again, I would be the capo. All those people wanted was money, Peppino. The £4 per week.
Are you suggesting that you spoke personally with all 1,000 applicants?
Oui, that we did. Because every one of them paid us 5 shillings. We take their names and we take their money, and we take their addresses as well. Then I tell them we take us some days to let them know by a post fittino, maybe 2 minuti a person. We start early in the morning and we stop late in the night.
So you earned 5,000 shillings in one day? That's a small fortune. Who'd have thought there were 1,000 such gullible redheads in London to start with? One of whom was a great detective with chemically altered hair. Yeah, but people everywhere knew who he was right off the get-go.
Hold it!
He doesn't look at all familiar.
No, I don't think so. And this is a wig, eh? He was trying to trick us. I do not like the people who are trying to trick the other people.
Okay. Says the con artist. If between them they interviewed 1,000 people with red hair, it would be unreasonable to expect them to remember every face.
No, senor. I may be small, but my memory is very large. I never forget a thing. In my opinion, I do not think this man was in the park.
But he's not going to give the court a definite, it seems.
Eh, Capo? You didn't see a man like this, huh? Hold it!
But according to what you've said, you spoke with 1,000 or more people that day.
Oui, that's true. My eyes were burning by the end of the day.
Surely then, you can't actually remember every single face. How are you so certain that this particular man wasn't present?
Normally, the red hair is very distinctive, eh? But not when you have 1,000 redheads crowding around. Then it is just an eyesore. But if there was some other information you could give us, then maybe we would recall.
That is not the line, Peppino.
Remember, we do not remember him. We are sure of that fact, huh? If there was a man with a red hairpiece, but his mustache did not match the color, then I do not think I could have forgotten him.
Kazuma said these two had only just been shown that photograph and they'd been told nothing else at all. What if I fed them just one other detail about the victim? For example... That's true, his fish and chips. I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man... This is dumb, by the way. I'm pretty sure it's probably his name, considering they just said that they, had the names of every single one of them. I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember in this situation. But what if I told you that the man was always munching on a packet of fish and chips? Do you remember a man who was eating incessantly?
Not really. I was looking only at the heads of the applicants. I wouldn't have noticed the fish and chips any more than the caviar and smoked salmon. Or spaghetti. Me, I love the spaghetti.
Really? I had no idea.
Tell him again what you said before, Peppino. Si, Capo, si. I say it again and again.
Alright.
Hold it!
We'll try this again. Skip through all this. Let's say his name, because I don't think he would give them he would give them his profession, especially if he was, like, investigating them, right? I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember in this situation. But what if I told you that the man's name was Gregson?
The man in the photograph is a Monsieur Gregson?
Yes.
Names, they are boring. I do not listen to any of them.
Oh.
It was not a real interview, huh? It was just for a show. Why would I remember the names? That's right. This changes nothing. The man in the photograph was not there, as we have already said.
I see. It seems there's little to be gained from pursuing this point further.
Tell him again what you said before, Peppino.
Yeah. Alright, I guess we'll try the last one for this. I did not expect it to be the profession. I mean, he's not supposed to say that he's a detective. I can certainly appreciate that just knowing the man had red hair wouldn't help you remember in this situation. But what if I told you that the man in the red hair piece was actually a detective?
The man in the photograph? A detective?
Yes. It would appear he found your notice in the paper suspicious and decided to investigate incognito.
Sorry, but this changes nothing.
Oh, now we got something.
Excuse me.
Yeah, the guy on the left's trying to stay coy about it, but Rossi is too I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. It starts with an E. Exuberant? It's not exuberant, but something along those lines. Something to add, Mr. De Rossi.
Si, I am always adding something. Parmesan, olive oil, pepper.
What I mean is, did you not agree with your friend's last remark by any chance?
Eh? What did he just say? About the detective?
Yes, that.
Keep your mouth shut, Peppino. You have said enough already. But why, Capo? What is the problem? There was a man who said, I am an inspector from Scotland Yard.
What? Good lord. What? Explain this volte-face in your testimony, witness.
It's simple. A man who was at the park said to us that he was an inspector. There was no such man. Madai! What are you saying, Capo? Have you forgotten, hey? I have forgotten nothing. Nobody like this came to the park. Basta, Capo, basta! You beat me at the many things, but not two. The memory and the meals. Like I said, when it's time to eat the pasta, no one is faster. But you are inferior to me in every other way, so shut up. Objection.
Damn. He did it too.
Ugh. Top tired. The damage is done.
Indeed it is, sir. Sir.
Oui, there was a man who came to the park and said he was he said he was an inspector from Scotland Yard. However, he looked nothing like the man in the photograph. He was someone else.
How can you be so sure?
Because, to start with, his face was completely different. See, it's true. The man who came was a younger. His face was a clean shaven, his eyes were sadder, his chin was a thinner.
No resemblance whatsoever, then.
Anyway, I was not going to be fooled. I took the obvious precaution and said to him, if you are really a detective, show us the proof. See, the capo here, he doesn't take a no-nonsense, eh? But he was well prepared. He said he had an identification.
Identification? You mean official police inspector's identification? That is most unconvincing. Sorry, my lord? Counsel, no incognito inspector would offer his identification for inspection. It's quite out of the question. Definitely. Why would he expose his true identity?
Clearly, the papers were fake. Certo, capo, you are a genius. As we say in Italia, it takes a thief to recognize another, eh?
And what happened after he announced that he was a detective?
He became very annoying. He said, you are under investigation. So I took his papers from him and chased him out of the park. It was fantastico! And look, here is the identification.
So you stole it from the man?
He had it coming. He made us very scared. But he was not who he said he was.
Who he said he was. Indeed, the person described does not appear to have behaved as a true inspector would. However, I believe it would be prudent for these identifications to be entered into evidence.
But I like them.
I think this probably is Hugh Boone, if I had to guess. Now, let us return to the witness's testimony. Well, first let's check it. Gotta check it first. Can't find anything out of oh, no. You gotta check the clasp first in order to open it and get the clue. Well, I suppose we should see what this inspector's identification looks like inside. What does it say? Yes, it definitely looks fake, doesn't it?
Out of interest, what name is given?
Probably just something plucked out of the air. It's Tobias Gregson. Wait, what?
This Scotland Yard insignia looks genuine to me.
But how?
And the department and identification number details are all correct as well.
Since when have you known those? Do you mean to say?
I know it seems incredible, but yes. I think this is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard.
But that's unbelievable. This is the real thing after all? So it is official. I want to hear this first before we do anything. What do you mean by that?
Cavolo, you promised not to say, eh, Capo? After we had taken all the money that day, we should have left the country. That was my plan. I left the purchasing of the tickets for the ferry to Dunkirk to my companion here. But he bought them for the wrong day.
Oops.
See, but it's an easy mistake to make,
It's so these ahs at the end for the Italian accent are just driving me crazy.
The 31st. Oh, I have no sympathy for you. We were an all day late for the boat because of your stupidity. And it's only because of this so-called great red-headed detective caught us. Capo, you know what I think? This is the work of God. It's a holy punishment, eh? Peppino, for the last time. This is not only punishment. This is only your fault. Huh? Don't blame God for your unholy mistakes. You are making me sick with the anger. Maybe I make a mistake, but when it's time to eat the pasta, no one is faster.
And I've seen the evidence. Once. They haven't told us much we didn't already know.
What do you think, Mr. Naruhodo?
Well, if it was the inspector's diary, it seems likely that he must have gone to Lime Street that day. And yet these two both claim they didn't see him.
I have to say, They don't... Oh, they don't appear to be telling lies.
Well, they are experts in deception, don't forget. Sounding plausible is their specialty. They may be lying simply to avoid being implicated in this case as well.
Surely if they were truly experts in deception, they wouldn't have been caught.
Well, yes, you do have a point there. It seems to me like we need more information.
Definitely.
He was not in the park. Oh, I have full life back. Weird. I don't know why I have full life back. I literally have not played up to this point. I guess you get your health back at the to be continued mark. I don't know why they do that. I feel like it would be harder the other way, but okay, whatever. I'm gonna present it on this. I guess it'd be quicker to just do this.
Protection.
Yep, there we go. I wonder if I could ask you to examine this identification book very closely. Miss Lestrade. Why Miss Lestrade? What is your intention here, Counsel? Is this really a fake or is it genuine? That's the question, which we can't answer ourselves. Don't be ridiculous. No Scotland Yard detective would allow his or her identification to be stolen.
That is the boss's! No question about it!
It can't be. As I suspected. The undercover detective who attended the Red-Headed League's enrollment on the day in question was the real Inspector Gregson, carrying out an incognito investigation.
Zoodalors!
I think it could be, but it could also be that they're correct and someone stole his identification and was using it, because it doesn't have his picture on there, right? So anyone could walk around if they had the thing and be like, yeah, I'm Gregson, right? You would think so. I just don't know why they would do that. We don't quite understand that. Order!
But if the boss had his identification stolen, he would have reported it straight away. I mean, he was always on at me about it. If you lose something, report it at once, he'd say.
Could it be, then, that the inspector was physically unable to report it? Oh, you think that... Oh, that's fucked. So they killed him and then they went to the Red-Headed League for some reason? But why?
Physically... Eh? What are you saying?
Unable to. You're not suggesting. Yes, it's quite possible that he was killed before he had the chance to report his identification stolen. No! Order! The defense posits that the victim was killed the day before his body was discovered, at a different location. Do you two have anything to say about that?
Where? I know nothing. Where? I'm done at nothing. Where? Pull yourself together, Peppino. Mon Dieu, you can behave a little more like a master's criminal than that, non? Where? I know, I wish I had a return to Italia. Where?
That's more like it.
Stop crying, Peppino, please. Otherwise Lumme, stop your whining and start talking.
Well, I believe the court will need to hear your story and...
I know nothing. Where? I done nothing. Where?
But you will tell everything, or face the worst possible outcome. You will dry your eyes and testify again about these identification papers and the precise circumstances under which you came by them.
Where?
For crying. Yep. That's a low-hanging fruit joke, but I love it.
The truth is, we took him prisoner and kept him for the night at our secret hideout. even though I didn't think he was a real detective, I was too scared to let him go that day, just in case. We took the man's identification from him and shut him in the room next to ours. There might have been a little tussle, but we did him no harm, and the next morning we let him go. He spent the night in a nice room. It was nothing like a prison, really. Wah! You fucking kidnapped him? What?
This is outrageous! You imprisoned the man?
But no, see, no. It was not like a prison. He was very comfortable and calm and happy. Eh, Capo? It was never part of my plan. I swear it. Uffa, so you think it was my fault, eh? Just because I got the date of the ferry wrong. By one a little a day. I do not think it was your fault, Peppino. I know it. No. Per favor, Capo. It is not fair.
You shall have plenty of time for squabbling back at the prison, gentlemen.
Oof, I don't believe this. How could he have been a real detective?
Counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination.
So on the day before the incident, Gregson spent the night confined in this pair's hideout. Definitely didn't expect that. I expected him to, get the better of these two. If it came to that. Hold it! How the fuck did that happen? Do you realize what you're saying? You have to believe me. I never intended for that to happen. And I'm sure that the detective did not intend it either. Do you think? But there was nothing else I could do. See, nothing else. This was the first crime for De Capo. He was at the end of his wits. I have told you before, Peppino, that is not the way to describe a criminal mastermind. What about this hideout of yours? An old empty house behind the park on Lime Street. We rented the place for 2 days. It was an inspired idea by the capo here.
An impulsive idea, I would say.
No. Not impulsive. Inspired. Eh, Capo? What am I supposed to say to that? Peppino? And it was in the house described that you confined Inspector Gregson, was it? Oui. But you have to remember, I was under the impression that he was a pretender, not a real inspector. That doesn't quite add up, though. If you didn't think the man was a real inspector, there would have been no reason to take him prisoner, would there? No, you are right, but we couldn't be completely certain. Hold it! Too scared. Why? Because, why had he come to the park? We didn't know. There was a chance that he had seen through my plan. And if that was the case, he would go straight to the police station to blow the whistle on us. Even if he was just feigning to be an inspector, he was up to no good, huh? Without a doubt. I think most people would agree it's you two who are up to no good. Well, see, you may be right. Eh, Capo? The point is, we were not able to escape from England immediately. That is why we had no choice but to take the man prisoner. What I don't understand is why the inspector felt the need to show you his identification in the first place. See, I asked myself the same question. We were writing down the names and addresses of all the people who we took 5 shillings from that day. I have forgotten what name he said, but the address, it startled me. See, address, Scotland Yard, Homicide Division, he said. What? He probably didn't like your face, Peppino. Anyway, I was not rude, I just politely asked him why he had said it. And that's when he started to say he was an inspector. Not long afterwards, he took out his identification. What was Inspector Gregson playing at? I don't think it was Gregson. Considering the facial features that they list off, they were just like, it's not the same guy. I think someone else had his identification.
And I think the person who had his identification was this guy, the guy that we've been looking for. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? I think he had killed Gregson already. Had his identification and went to the Red-Headed League. I don't know why, though. Tell the cult what happened next. You took him back to your hideout, you say?
See, we did it! We did it! We took the man's identification from him and shut him in the room next to ours.
That being this identification book here, correct?
See, that is the one.
What made you believe that it was a forgery?
I never seen a real one, of course. But he was so suspicious, this man. Allora, I was thinking, it must be falso, eh, Capo? Oui, it is just as Peppino has said. We were convinced it was not genuine. And so, together, the hilarious brothers, we took the man captive. All we did was shove him inside a locked room. Then we made preparations to transport all of the money.
In for a penny, in for a pound. What do you mean by a little tussle exactly?
Oh, it was nothing. Just a minor incident. The falso inspector, he was a real piece of the work, eh, Capo?
What happened?
Uffa, it was a disaster. We gave him a nice room, and what does he do, huh? In the middle of the night, he tries to escape through the ventilator.
Ventilator? Is that what that said? Hold on. Oh, I think it's just supposed to be ventilator. I thought it was like some weird Italian word, but it still might be a weird Italian word. I don't know Italian. The ventilator. Can you blame him?
We chased him bien sûr, and we got him again. Can you blame us?
Yes, I can. Wait, you didn't shoot the man in your haste, did you?
Who do you think we are? Of course not. I simply caught hold of him again and took him back to the room.
Oh, you got something to say about that.
Excuse me.
Mr. De Rossi, is something wrong?
Me?
Something Mr. De Rousseau just said seemed to make you, well, it seemed to make you act even more strangely than usual. What was that all about?
Cavallo, at times like that, you don't want to have the capo after you, believe me. And I speak from the personal esperienza.
Personal experience?
That is enough, Peppino. There is no need to say more. The truth is, the night before we put the Red-Headed League plan into action, I was scared. It was not fair to the capo, but I tried to run away.
It's a shame you didn't manage it.
But the capo here, he came after me like the turbine, and he dragged me back to the house, kicking and screaming. I still have the bruises to prove it, eh, Capo?
Bruises, you say?
You wanna see, huh? You wanna see my fantastical bruises?
Oh, okay. So the man who tried to act like Gregson was actually the guy outside there? Ooh, interesting. That's a plot twist.
That's enough now, Peppino. No one wants to look at any part of you. What do I do? What to do? Should I show you or I don't? I show you or I don't?
You do, now!
Allora, if everybody wants to see, then I do it. Echo, you see? Is still very visible, eh?
That red ring around your neck? You got that when you were dragged back to the house.
See, the capo, sometimes he is a very rough, and...
I said that's enough.
Peppino's neck has nothing to do with what we are talking about here. You have my word.
Yes. What is your opinion, counsel? About this red ring about Mr. de Rossi's neck, I wonder, does it matter? It's very important. It literally tells us who the killer is. Mr. de Rossi, I'm going to have to ask you to amend your testimony with details about that mark on your neck.
Hey, Capo, you see? Everyone is interested in what I say, huh?
Very well. You will amend your testimony. There's another one. That's the second typo of this case, or at least this trial. You will amend your testimony as requested, Mr. de Rossi.
See, if you really wanted to know.
Are you saying that red mark was caused by...
See, a big collar mark made from the leather.
A leather collar? Is this true, Mr. de Rousseau?
What? We had a Saint Bernard at home when I was younger. It is a souvenir from that time, with a very strong chain.
A strong chain? And you put that around your friend's neck?
I'm sorry, I was so angry that he was leaving me alone. You did not have to tie the chain to the leg of the abeda, though, huh? I would not have tried to run again.
You didn't do that to Inspector Gregson as well, did you?
Treat to the people equala, is the Capo's ears motto, eh?
It's starting to sound a lot more like a prison all of a sudden.
The Capo is a tough, but the Capo is a rough. I shouldn't have done it.
So, the following morning, when you released the inspector...
He had the red ring around his neck just like a me. Peppino, s'il vous plaît, leave it now. Now you know, eh? The Capo here, you don't want to tangle with him, eh? But for the inspector, it's not so bad.
I think it's this. I think it's just this. I was trying to find like a little more clear explanation where it's just like the man that was there was definitely Gregson or something like that. But I think this works too. If we inspect this, there's no mark around his neck.
Objection!
So the day before his body was discovered, Inspector Gregson was taken prisoner while working incognito.
No, it was not like that. It was hardly a prison. It was an invitation to stay. It was only.
However you describe it, there is one glaring inconsistency that remains. What inconsistency is this, counsel? I would ask the court to look closely at this photograph of the victim, Inspector Gregson. You will see that there is no red ring visible around his neck.
But that makes no sense. It was me who took the collar off the man in the morning, and I saw the red bruises on his neck just like I have.
Given that the mark is still clearly visible on the witness's neck, we'd expect to see bruising on the victim, who was put in the collar more recently than Mr. de Rossi. Indeed, that is most peculiar.
But what do we tell you, huh? Huh? We say this from the beginning, many times. Where? Oui, Peppino is right. The man in the photograph. He is someone different to the man we held captive that night.
Order! It would appear then that on the day before the incident, the man who visited the park on Lime Street posing as an incognito inspector was not Inspector Gregson at all. You're right. If that's true, however, how do you explain the inspector's identification? This is a genuine identification book issued by Scotland Yard. It's inconceivable that someone could have stolen such an important item from the inspector. The prosecution made that assertion itself.
And we also know that the inspector had made a note about the Red-Headed League in his diary for that day, which surely means we can't divorce the two events completely.
The inconsistency noted by the defense is most troubling. If it were the real Inspector Gregson, whom these two red-headed gentlemen encountered, the fact that no bruising can be seen around his neck defies explanation. But equally, if they actually encountered an imposter, how did that person come to be in possession of the real inspector's identification? Does the defense have some plausible explanation, counsel? Yes, let's piece it together, let's go. The whole thing defies explanation.
It is for precisely these occasions that we keep meticulous notes in the court record, Mr. Naruhodo. Because those are the facts, and the facts cannot lie.
No, the facts can't lie. Even when they point to something so incredible it's almost unbelievable. Well, my lord, the true identity of the person who turned up in the park for the Red-Headed League's enrollment is revealed by information in the court record, I believe. Good gracious! Very tantalizing, Mr. Naruhodo. So why don't you help us all to see whatever truth it is that you've apparently seen? Who exactly was this inspector that appeared before Mr. de Rousseau and Mr. de Rossi? An imposter! I could make an Among Us joke, but I'm not that bad. Though it seems incredible, I admit, the undeniable facts point to only one thing. Since no bruising can be seen on the victim's neck, the person who these two red-headed men took prisoner that day cannot have been Inspector Gregson. In other words, your whole argument up to now has been a waste of time. On the contrary, I haven't finished. What? There's no bruising on the victim's neck, so the question immediately posed next is, who exactly was this man in the park on Lime Street found to be carrying Inspector Gregson's identification?
See, that's alright. We tell the same story every time. Whoever this man was, the capo dragged him from a pillar to a post with the dog collar. Mon Dieu, Peppino, I was not so harsh as you say, huh? So who was that falso inspector, eh? Who was he?
Clearly, the defense has an idea about that. About the true identity of the man these two imprisoned that night. I must ask the counsel for the defense to elaborate post-haste. Who did the witnesses encounter in the park posing as Inspector Gregson? It was this fuckhead.
Take that!
Goodness me! Isn't that... One of the witnesses who was in the stand this very courtroom earlier today. A nameless man whose only occupation appears to be peddling hearsay to passers-by.
Objection.
What on earth would a street seller be doing with a police inspector's identification papers? Witnesses, is this the man or not?
What has happened to his lip?
Ah,
See, this a man is not for the Red-Headed League, eh? He's looking for the Twisted Lip League, no?
perhaps rather than making such a rash claim next time, you should bite your lip instead. It seems improbable, yes, but one undeniable fact remains. During his testimony earlier, I noted something around the man's neck. A red ring of bruising.
Eh?
What? The defense demands that Mr. Gossett be brought back to the stand. Order! Order! Bailiff, bring the aforementioned witness back into the courtroom. Immediately! Oh boy. He does have it. Well, I never. An undeniable ring of bruising indeed, and identical to that of the witness beside him.
Now, what's going on here, eh? I've always had this me. It's a birthmark, isn't it?
A birthmark, you say? I assume the reason you've been recalled to the stands has been explained to you?
Aye, something about an inspector again. But I'm telling you, you've got it all wrong as usual.
You're denying all knowledge of it?
Well, of course I am. Are you trying to kill me with all this nonsense, eh?
Well, at least you'll have more stories to peddle back on Fresno Street, won't you? Now, we're going to need you to testify again. And you, Mr. De Rousseau and Mr. De Rossi, I'm sure that you'll cooperate, won't you?
Do we have any choice? We are in a big trouble, eh, Capo?
That's quite enough dilatory chatter. Proceed with the testimony. We got 10 minutes here before the hour mark. We shall see.
The man who claimed to be an inspector that day was definitely not this man. Is right, see? You would think we would have forget these grand lips, huh? I never leave Fresno Street, alright? I've no interest in any red-headed league. I'm all alone in the world, me. I've no kinfolk or nothing. Why would I be involved in something like that? Just look at me, eh? Does it look like I could carry off a disguise with a face like this?
It would certainly appear that we have the wrong man.
What have I been telling you, huh? There was no need for this pointless testimony.
Ugh.
That's right. I'm just a simple peddler, remember? At Fresno Street's all I know. How would I have come by a police inspector's identification book, eh?
Well, yes, that's hard to explain. But... a brief cross-examination, I think, counsel. Very brief. Ugh. Isn't there anyone in this courtroom who thinks I might be onto something?
I stand steadfastly at your side as always, Mr. Naruhodo.
We shall see. I think he may have busted his own lip. Bruised it, at least.
Hold it!
So you say, but how can you be quite so certain?
There is no need to hurt your hands on the desk, monsieur. Surely the reason is obvious, no?
Because I have never before seen lips like this. Nevertheless, there's a clear red mark around Mr. Gossip's neck. And it looks very much like that left behind on the neck of your colleague by your prized collar.
Mon Dieu! With your words, it is like you try to wring my neck. It does look very much like my neck, though, eh?
No, this is a birthmark, lad.
The biggest lips in London and a neck to die for. Aye, they broke the mold when they made me. For the first time in my life, I feel lucky to have been born with red hair.
And I thought being Japanese made you stand out in London. So you maintain that you've never seen this man before?
Oui, c'est ça. I swear to it by the flames of my hair.
So fierce pride has outgrown the frustration with your hair now, has it?
Hold it!
Well, yes, I don't imagine I'll forget those lips in a hurry either.
That is what I am saying. For some reason, it makes me want to eat, how did Fabian call it? An eclair. You know, I've never seen the hair as black as yours either before.
Likewise, I'd never seen red hair like yours until I came to Britain.
See, maybe it's a national trait, huh? Maybe all the people from this man's country have the grand lips. No, lad, I was born right here on Fresno Street, and I've never left. Oofa, that is the problem, see.
So you definitely didn't go to the park on Lime Street that day, Mr. Gossip?
Now, how many times do you want me to say it, eh? Hold it!
So, you'd heard of the Red-Headed League, had you?
You don't get a name like Gossip for nothing, eh? It's my business to know what's going off in town. I sold that tasty tidbit to a fair few redheads that came past me. Just between us, I even got Sandwich to cough up for it. Well, he does have a very red nose, if that counts.
Who knows?
But as you can see, my own hair's got not a hint of red in it. And in any case, Fresno Street's my patch. You won't catch me sidling off to some other part of town. No, sir, not likely.
Oh, really? Mr. de Rousseau.
Oui?
Can I help you? Did Mr. Gossip's word just now lead you to remember something relevant, perhaps?
It was the other day when I was looking for a place near the park. A small house or something.
To be the headquarters of your Red-Headed League, yes.
I visited an housing agent on Lime Street, and there I saw him. This man was paying money to the agent. What?
Mr. Gossip with a housing agent?
Oui. He had some kind of contract in his hand, and they were clearly discussing terms. But, no, you're mistaken, chum. I've never left Fresno Street, me. Like I said before. You've mistaken me for someone else. Someone with the same face. No, the capo is right. I remember it too. He was a paying the man with the banknotes.
With notes?
Like I said, that wasn't me. I was curious why this man with the dirty clothes had so much money. So I looked at the name on the papers.
And what name was written? Mr. Gossip?
No, this man, he lies. He tells you that he has no name. But in fact, his name is Hugh Boone, is better than Mr. Gossip, I think. See?
Oh boy.
No! I'm a peddler of tidbits and information, like I said, on Fresno Street, and that's that. I don't much like folk talking about my personal life.
Indeed. And it is not the intention of the court to invade the privacy of witnesses. Very well, I shall respect your wishes, sir. The aforementioned names shall be redacted from all court records of this trial, assuming no objections.
Objection.
Yeah, there's a big objection here. I'm sorry, my lord, but the defense does object. Because the name just mentioned has a very deep significance to this case. Good gracious! Do you similarly object, Prosecutor Asogi? As it happens, my lord, that particular name has already been mentioned during today's proceedings. Well, I never! In what capacity?
Hugh Boone. The name of the leaseholder of the room.
Let me put this very simply. The victim's body was discovered in your rented room. I suggest, sir, that you start talking.
Well, alright. I suppose that might be the case,
So your real name is Hugh Boone.
Well, just between us, I don't like to blow me own trumpet, but there's no finer peddler of tidbits in town. So I happen to be able to afford a grubby little room in a falling down back street townhouse.
You do?
And once every 6 months, I go and pay the rent to the agent on Lime Street. I remember now. There were 2 vulgar redheads in there last time. If either of us is a vulgar, it is not on me. Think again, Peppino.
Why didn't you bring this up before?
It's like I told you already. I don't like talking about my personal life. I'm a tidbit peddler as far as everyone else is concerned. No fuss.
You will update your testimony to include this most surprising revelation, Mr. Boone.
If I must.
So the leaseholder Scotland Yard has been looking for since the body was discovered has been here under our noses all along. So, you live in that room presumably, do you?
No, I don't live there. What do you think? There's no bed, is there? Just a desk.
Then, why would you want to rent it?
Well, I don't think I should have to say, really.
Then how about the notice board in there? Which was covered from top to bottom in confidential documents only the police should have had access to.
No, that board's not mine. The inspector must have brought it along. It's only the other tidbits, only the other bits and bobs that belong to me. The desk and the chair and that.
People don't generally carry enormous notice boards around with them. The real question is, why was Inspector Gregson killed there, in your room?
Well, obviously, I've not the faintest idea. I mean, it's causing me no end of bother, to be honest. It seems to me that Mr. Boone, would rather as little is known about his room as possible, for some reason.
Yes, it does come across that way, and more importantly, knowing that the scene of the crime is actually his room completely changes things. In particular, there's one part of his testimony that really is bothering me now. That's how I'm finally going to undo this man. All alone in the world, Maine, no kinfolk or nothing. Why would I be involved in something like that? But we found this in your room. I was wondering if we would be able to present that. You know what? We're going to save right here, and in the next episode of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, we're going to get to the bottom of this guy. And maybe finish the trial, I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. If you liked the video, please like it, subscribe, and comment down below. Who's your favorite character in the Great Ace Attorney? I'm, of course, not going to include any of the characters from the 5th case, or if there's anybody new in that case. But yeah, don't spoil anything, of course. But who's your favorite character that we've met so far? And yeah, I'll see you guys on Sunday. See you guys on Sunday. Bye-bye.